bekliyorum.
Welcome, Qatar Airways passengers. Please fasten your seatbelt for taxi, takeoff, and landing. Insert the metal end into the buckle until it clicks.
観口カタールへようこそ。ただいまの現地時間は0時28分です。
Welcome to Madrid. The local time here is 2:20 p.m. For your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has completely stopped and the seatbelt sign is switched off. Please take care when opening over the storage compartment and ensure that you have all your personal belongings and travel documents with you as you disembark the aircraft. Remember that